Hello, this is Zule from Pomona, California, Zone 10A. Today is December 29, 2018, and today I have a project in my head for these beautiful, beautiful flowers. I got these flowers from my brother and my sister-in-law for Christmas, and they are absolutely gorgeous. They came in a little vase, but I want to put these beauties in a pot. And in case you didn't know their name, they are the Cheerfulness Paperwhites, and they're absolutely adorable. So I am going to get started. So first things first, you have to make sure you protect the surface of the area you're going to work on. And for me, I decided to use a paper bag. And the paper bag is pretty much inexpensive and does the trick. It doesn't ruin the top of my table. And believe me, I've done that before, so not fun. You do not want to ruin your table. All right. So we are going to be doing a clay pot, and I love clay pots. They're just my absolute favorite, and I thought this one would be a perfect size for those bulbs. And then I'm going to be adding the bottom part as well because it will be inside my home. And we definitely want to make sure we capture the water that's going in that little clay pot saucer. And so I am going to be using two colors. I'm going to use purple and red. And I'm also going to be using these spongy looking things. So I'm going to use a big one and this one that's a little bit smaller. And I love the color purple, and I thought using red would be a pretty cool thing to do since it is Christmas time. So you do need two paper plates, and that's where we're going to be adding our paints to, just so that we have somewhere to put the paints. So let's shake it, and then we are going to pour it so that it is available for us to paint our pot. I think that should be enough. Maybe a little bit more. So now I'm just going to pour my red, and then I'm going to go ahead and put these aside because we're going to get started with our painting. So I'm going to start with this little clay saucer, and I tried to take this off but it didn't come off, so oh well, we're just going to paint over it. So I'm going to start with the top part, and all we're going to do is make sure that all the area of the little clay saucer is covered. Very, very simple, not a lot to it. And I really, really enjoy clay pots. So this little clay pot saucer is done. So now we're going to go ahead and get started on the actual pot itself. And this time I am going to start at the bottom. So same thing, you just want to make sure that you give it a good coat of paint. And if it doesn't get covered the first time, don't worry about it. You can definitely add a second coat of paint. And this paint is designed for outside, but this pot is going to be inside my home. So I'm almost done with the bottom part of this clay pot. And then after that, we'll go ahead and move to the inside. But first, you want to make sure you let it dry for a bit before you turn it over. All right, so this has been drying for a bit, and as you can see, it's pretty dry. So now we're going to go ahead and get started on the inside. Now, it's a small pot, but as you can see, it took all my paint that I had poured before. So I'm just going to add a little bit more paint to do the inside of the pot. And the inside of the pot, we're not going to be doing all the inside, just the top part, because that's the part that is going to be visible to anyone seeing your pot. So I'm just going to make sure that the rim of the pot is fully covered. And then I'm going to start on the inside, and then that's going to be up to your liking how much you want to paint it. Some people like to paint the whole inside. For me personally, since the dirt is going to be at the bottom, I just like to make sure that the top part is covered, because that's what people are going to see when they go over to see your pot and your flowers in that little pot. So again, if one coat of paint doesn't do it, you're more than welcome to add a second coat of paint. That is absolutely no problem. It's going to be up to you and your taste. So here I'm just finishing up this pot, and it's looking really, really good, and I'm loving the shine that this paint gives it. Although it is painted over, it's still nice and shiny. All right, so I have let it dry, so it has been drying for a bit. So now both the outside and the inside are fully covered in this beautiful, fabulous red paint. And I'm just absolutely loving it. And now let's go ahead and get this baby dolled up with a couple of words. I should say with a couple of letters saying Little Beans Garden. And for this, I recruited my brother because by this time I was kind of tired, and also I don't have really good penmanship. I love to decorate clay pots, but unfortunately, let's face it, my writing stinks. So my brother has better writing than I do. So for that, I asked him if he can write Little Beans Garden, and he readily agreed. So this is what he helped me out in this pot. So it makes it absolutely more special, because not only did I paint it and did I decorate it, but my brother as well. And since he and my sister-in-law, his wife, gave me the Cheerfulness Paperwhites, this pot makes it so much more special. And this part, I thought I would speed up a little bit for you guys, just because I know that this takes a little bit of time. Like, he was definitely concentrated and wanted to make sure that the letters came out nice. And believe me, he did a fabulous job, which you will see at the end of the video. So definitely great penmanship, something that I don't have. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love how this is turning out. So right here, he's just finishing it off, but I am loving the way this looks already. I think that the yellow was definitely a great color to pick for the name Little Beans Garden on this pot. It just stands out so much on this pot. It looks beautiful, and we're not done with it. So I apologize, you guys. My battery died, so I wasn't able to film me decorating this pot, but I did decorate it, and I don't know, I really liked the way it came out. It was just nothing planned. It was spur of the moment. So I just got the brush and the colors and started painting it. So now everything is decorated, and it's time for us to put it together. So let's go ahead and get started. First, I'm gonna go ahead and get the stuff we're going to need. So I went to get some potting soil, and I have added a little bit of potting soil to the pot, and we don't want to fill it up too much, just because we're going to be adding the bulbs and then adding more dirt on top. So the roots of this one look pretty good. I'm just going to measure it out to see how much I'm going to have to cut. And I think I'm going to have to cut a pretty good amount. And don't worry, they survived the trimming. So I'll be doing that to all the bulbs. So I'm going to be cutting just a little bit of the root. And that's so that, one, the root gets to fit in the pot, and then second, so that the roots are kind of awakened and want to spread out in the pot. At least that's my theory behind it. That's why I want to trim the roots so that they can wake up and try to reach around the pot and get healthier and stronger. So now that I have added all my bulbs, I'm going to be adding these house plants that I have. I don't know what they're called. I really don't know. But I have a mother plant, and I had taken some cuttings as an experiment just to see if they would take. And this one looks absolutely healthy. This one, as you can see, is not doing so well. And I'm going to try to pot it in here just because I want to give it a chance. And it doesn't have a lot of roots. It barely has anything. But it has a leaf, and the leaf still looks a little bit green. So we're going to give it a second chance, and hopefully it will make it in this pot. So now that the bulbs are in, and then the 2 experimental little house plants are in, I'm just adding a little bit more soil. And from what I have read with the bulbs, you don't want to bury them under the ground. It's best, and they do better if they are left with the majority of the top peeking out from the soil. So that's what I did. I just added dirt, but I didn't put them deep enough. So now the pot is done, and I am loving how the pot turned out. Yes, I did a mess, but that's why we put that plastic bag. So let's go ahead and check out how beautiful this looks. And don't mind the background. It is an absolute mess, but I'll pick that up later. So the bottom part looks absolutely beautiful. I did a little bit of a butterfly, and then the little beans garden, and then I did some swirls around it, and I am just loving the pot and how it all came together and how it all turned out. So this is going to be living in my house, and hopefully it will continue to flower for me. Well, guys, that's it from Little Beans Garden. Thank you very much for watching. Hope you have a great day, and as always, take care.